Hello and good evening. It's good to be back here. And hi, Marta, how are you today? Can you
I'm
hear me
fine,
well?
thank you. Yes, everything is great. Hello.
Perfect. Thank you so much for confirming that. And so, of course, I am your host as always. Caroline is here as well, and hope that you can hear me, and Marta as well. So just let me know. And as you know, we are here every single day since the very beginning of April to support you throughout the times that we are now in, and because of that we want to just support you, and we want for you to have a chance to ask your questions to all kinds of doctors, top experts, but also embryologists, so that you can learn a bit more on all kinds of IVF options, and you can simply just stay let's say calm and just patiently wait until the virus, let's say, will be over and we will be able to start the treatments. Okay. So, as you know, our Stronger Together initiative, it's going to last for until the end of April, and this is all possible thanks to our ambassadors and partners that you can see right here. And I know some of them you already actually had a chance to see during our IVF webinars or our online patient meetings. And today it is our online patient meeting. And with us, we have PhD Marta Wojciechowska. She is actually a senior embryologist and the head of Embryology Lab in InviMed, which is located in Gdynia in Poland. So hello again, Marta. Hope you are
Hello.
having a good
Hello.
day.
Perfect.
Perfect.
All right.
So thank you for joining our Stronger Together initiative. And to get today, Marta will be talking about embryo quality and what can be done differently when your IVF failed. And as you know, we will start with a very short introduction from Marta, and then we will continue with the most common questions that we receive from the patient. And after that, it will be your time to ask your questions. All you need to do is just type it in the chat section, and then Marta will be happy to help you out as much as possible, I am sure. So just remember, this is all recorded, so you will still have a chance to rewatch it if needed. It will be available on our website very, very soon as well. Well, that will be it from me. Marta, are you ready to begin?
Yes, thank you, Caroline. Thank you for your introduction. Well, in fact, you told everything what I wanted to say before I start my introduction, my scientific introduction. So let's begin. As
Perfect.
the topic of our meeting is embryo quality, first of all, I would like to bring closer to you what is the embryo quality we are talking about, and what influences this quality. Embryo quality, it's how it is, and there are two main factors that determine this quality. It's paternal factor and maternal factor. So it means the sperm and the oocytes. Regarding the oocytes, we need to have good quality oocyte to produce good quality embryo. And with good quality embryo, we have higher chance to get successful pregnancy. So our main enemy in reproduction is age, because aging oocytes have lower potential. First of all, we women are born with fixed, limited number of oocytes, and the number declines with age. The quality declines with age. So in oocytes from elder, I'm sorry to say that, but it's like that. They have more probability to have chromosomal abnormalities. It can cause greater risk of aneuploid embryos, and in effect affected children. And aged oocytes have lower chance for successful fertilization and normal embryonic development. And if the pregnancy happens, luckily, well, there's a lot higher chance of miscarriage. Regarding the sperm, the sperm factor is very important, because when the patient has not sperm, well, we cannot do anything, or at least try. However, sperm quality is affected by many factors, by environment, by the toxins which surround us, by medicine the patient takes. There are factors that are congenital. The patients have some genetical errors that produce bad sperm quality. Endocrinal factors, immunological, oncological, and even infectious factors. As we are now in pandemia, we don't know yet how the virus affected our patients. The studies are being performed all the time. And lifestyle, of course, drugs, smoking, anabolic steroids, it all affects sperm quality. And last but not least, recent data told us that age also matters in the case of men. Normally, we know that men can produce sperm and become fathers till the very late age. However, the quality of this sperm declines also with age, so we have to take in mind. How do we assess embryo quality? First of all, as an embryologist, I can speak about what I see in the laboratory under the microscope. To choose the best embryo for transfer, I need to take it from the incubator, place it to the microscope, and see. And what I see a cell, and I need to measure some parameters. Cleavage, how the embryo divides. Is it correct, or it's abnormal, the pattern of cleavage? If the number of cells is appropriate for the time of development, if there is some cytoplasmatical fragmentation, which is also bad sign and bad sign of quality. I need to check the presence of multinucleation, which is also bad sign, and it lowers implantation potential for implantation. I need to, and in general, I need to see if I like the embryo, but the quality is assessed according to certain rules. And we know that top quality embryo, top quality means the best of the best, the embryo we definitely choose for the transfer, or if the transfer is postponed for some reasons, for freezing and using in further cycles. The top quality embryo at day 2 of culture, so 2 days after fertilization, should have 4 to 5 cells, and at day 3, 6 to 8 cells, no multinucleation, and at less than 10% of fragments. So when I see embryo, which and of course according to this morphological criteria, with the different systems of grading, I don't want like to enter into details because, well, I think it's another topic. But normally in our clinic, the perfect embryo, it's graded 1. So when I see the embryo, for example, which has at day 3 eight perfect round blastomers and with no fragmentation and no multinucleation, I can grade it as 8 blastomers grade 1. So this embryo will be definitely chosen for transfer. I will pass briefly to possible reasons of IVF failure, and then I will leave the room for questions. A possible IVF failure due to poor embryo quality are also paternal and maternal. So, as I said before, age affects the quality of all sites, which is unable to produce the viable embryo. In paternal case, in paternal reason, it's the case of activation of paternal genome at day 3. If the sperm quality is seriously impaired, is very, very bad, the embryo may even stop the development, will not develop to the blastocyst stage, which is the stage that implants in the uterus. However, we embryologists, together with cooperation with our doctors, we have several techniques to, first of all, select sperm, and then perform successful fertilization using techniques like ICSI, PICSI, IMSI, and these techniques allow to increase the chance of infertile men to have children. So I guess that will be the end of my introduction, and because I have many more things to say, but I guess that some of my statements will serve as answers to our question. So I'm ready to answer.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that introduction. And yes, let's go to the most common questions from patients. And of course, just reminder that then it will be time for your questions. You just need to type them all in the chat section, and we
Yeah,
will
I will
be
be happy
taking
to answer.
exactly. We'll be taking care of those after. So let's begin with the very first one. So how the embryo quality can cause a failed IVF attempt? What are other reasons that can cause IVF failure?
Well, regarding embryo quality as fail, I think I had it in my introduction because, well, the embryo does not divide well. With delayed F development, with bad quality, with a lot of fragmentation, with failed development to the blastocyst stage, cannot implant because it's not able. Other reasons that can cause IVF failure, well. I think that the second part of the question should be more addressed to the clinician, because the clinician knows the exact history of the treatment of the patient, number of previous cycles, number of associated illnesses also, which also affects. Mm, in talking about embryo quality, I as an embryologist, I first of all look at the quality of oocyte and quality of sperm. Of course, I will take in mind another part of history of our patients, but I need to look at what I see under my microscope.
Thank you so much for answering that very first question. Now let's go to the next one. How can PGT-PGS genetic embryo diagnosis help if I had a successful attempt?
All right. Well, regarding the pre-implantational diagnostics, well, it will not improve the embryo quality, first of all, but it's strongly recommended if there is a risk of genetical disease, or patient is, for example, carrier of translocations that will affect. If a pregnancy occurs, it will may affect pregnancy, can cause miscarriage. And moreover, in our clinics in InviMed, genetical analysis of embryos is performed at the blastocyst stage. So we need to perform full blastocyst culture, so observe during the 5 or 6 days the embryos. So we need to obtain good quality embryos to make the analysis. But well, in fact, the analysis, if during the analysis we will obtain results that we have some embryos that are healthy, we can try all this healthy embryos, and and let's hope that that this healthy embryos will implant, because maybe the previous implantation failure was caused by these genetical errors that we need to detect during our pre-implantational diagnostic.
Perfect. Thank you so much again for answering that one. And now let's go to this question. What do you think about using an embryo monitoring system, Embryoscope, time lapse, may have an impact on embryo quality?
Okay, thank you very much for this question. Well, in fact, I love it because I love watching how the embryos develop. The impact, well, I cannot say that will have impact, but it's a very useful tool for embryologists to choose their best top quality embryo for transfer or freezing or for genetical analysis. Because in time-lapse analysis, we can observe every step of development from the very beginning, from fertilization till the development of blastocysts. So there are various parameters that we take in mind: the time of the first cleavage, time of the cleavage to 4 cells, time to cleavage to 8 cells. Just I told you only some of them, but taking in mind all the parameters that are taken into account by the system, we can be very sure that our embryo chosen is that embryo. So we also well, the aim is to choose the best embryo.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And so what you can do in the IVF lab if male factor is involved, what's the difference between IMSI, PICSI, and other techniques?
All right, thank you very much again for the question. Male factor, well, in fact, in our laboratory, in our InviMed laboratories and in many clinics that perform it, we have several techniques that, first of all, help us to choose the best sperm. We sperm preparation techniques like swim up, like density gradient centrifugation, and lately we are using more advanced techniques for selection of the sperm, like microfluidic techniques. It's called fertile chip. It allows us to choose the best, the better sperm, and then we use more sophisticated techniques to inject the sperm to increase the chance of successful fertilization. IMSI, it is a selection of sperm under the high magnification of microscope. It's in our clinic, it's 6,600, and PICSI allows us to choose the sperm that are functionally mature. The technique of PICSI is based on the attachment of mature sperm to the hyaluronian, which is the special plates are embedded in hyaluronian. The sperm attaches, and embryologist, the operator, chooses the right sperm, and it really can increase the fertilization rate. And good sperm also will help to create a good embryo. Of course, when the second factor, I mean the oocyte, is satisfactory good.
Okay. Yeah, so much for explaining all the techniques and the details as well. And so it's a very common question for sure.
Yeah,
Better to
I know.
transfer an embryo on day 3 or 5.
Well, it all depends because in day 3, as I said before in the introduction, paternal genome activates. So the embryo by itself starts to manage its own development. Day 5, it's blastocyst, the stage that it's that implants. However, in our clinic, we have both good results in day 3 and day 5. However, recently we passed almost completely for day 5 transfer, and to be sure that we are choosing the best embryo, and we are sure that if the embryo reaches the blastocyst stage, it is in most cases able to implant. In fact, as an embryologist, I can say that I love blastocysts because they are very beautiful, and I love how they develop, how they behave, because they are very vivid. They move even, and in fact, many authorities nowadays recommend day 5 transfer to make better chances for the patients.
Right. Thank you so much for explaining as well. And after that, embryo freezing thawing may impact the quality of an embryo.
All right. Well, modern techniques like vitrification that we are using nowadays do not impact embryo quality because I can speak from my experience that it's almost 100% of survival of embryos after vitrification technique. However, the quality of embryo may be affected by, for example, an experienced operator when the conditions are not observed as it should be. However, speaking from some years of experience of freezing and then vitrification of embryos, I can say that it's a safe method and allows our patients to keep the material for the moment that it will be needed, as today, because many clinics would have to stop their work to stop the transfers, and all the embryos are waiting for their parents in our banks, in other banks to be transferred.
Okay, thank you again for answering that question. And this is the next one. If the embryo doesn't form a blastocyst until day 5 or 6, is it more likely to be genetically abnormal?
Mm, it may be. It may be. However, I would also point that the sperm factor would be involved, because if the embryo does not develop beyond day 3, we need to consider the sperm factor. And if it's genetically abnormal, it would be hard to check in this case, if not reach the blastocyst stage, as we examine the embryos that are fully developed. The answer would be to check these embryos before in day 3, for example. However, in our clinics, all the biopsies of embryos for analysis are performed at day 5.
And thank you so much. And I believe this is our last question when it comes to this most common ones, and then we will go with your questions. So, are there any other techniques you can use in the IVF lab that may help with embryo quality?
I see. Well, in fact, regarding other techniques, the point is that we do not use them just to use them to check if it works. We need to have strong recommendation to use. For example, additional technique for facilitation of implantation is assisted zona hatching. When embryo may have some problems with hatching from its zona pellucida, from the shell, we in the laboratory perform assisted hatching. We cut the zona, and embryos after transfer can easily go out. But we have to have strong indications to perform that. Another techniques, embryo quality. Each clinic has its own culture system, and they are optimized to ensure the best conditions to the embryos. So, what should I add more? Well, I think for that question it would be that.
Perfect. Thank you.
But I will think about it.
Okay, no problem. We can always come back to this one. No problem.
Yes, with pleasure.
Thank you so much for answering those questions. Very, very interesting for sure. Very informative and in detail. So thanks a lot. And now, as I've mentioned, this is your time for your questions. And of course, there are already these few questions. So let's get to it right now. Let me start with the first question that we have received right here. So I'm age 27. We have low sperm count. We had 4 embryos that got to blastocyst, but none of them implanted. I am taking levothyroxine for thyroid, but it's very minor. I've been tested for immunological testing and blood count, and all is normal, but still nothing. I only got 7 mature eggs, as I was triggered too early. Any advice on that?
Well, if it's first cycle of these patients, I think that the clinician would recommend to try again, because the first cycle, if it's failed, of course, in many cases is informative, and failure in the first cycle does not determine that the chance of success is zero. No, this because the number and quality of the cohort of eggs and then embryos generated from these eggs can be markedly different even when the stimulation protocol would be the same. Sometimes, but I only mention it for briefly. The doctors may consider the alteration of stimulation protocol, but it should be discussed strongly with the doctor. Moreover, if the patient is under the endocrinological control, I think it also should be consulted. As an embryologist, I would say that well, low sperm count. I cannot. Well, let me check one more. Low sperm count. Well, techniques, as I mentioned before, for sperm selection can allow to improve the effect of fertilization. So, if, as I said before, if it's the first cycle, I would say that it's worth trying once again to see if the reaction of the organism would be different.
Okay, thank you so much for your question and your advice on that as well. And now let me go to the next question. So, hi, I am 39. I have tried IVF PICSI twice. Each resulted in 9 mature eggs. However, only 2 eggs fertilized and none reached blastocyst stage. I have used 2 different sperm donors, so it seems my equality is the problem. Is there anything I can do to improve my chances? I tried taking coenzyme Q10 and DHEA before the second attempt.
I understand. Well, Kathy, you had tried 3 times, well, as I said at the beginning of my introduction, the age, however it would sound, that it's our greatest enemy in reproduction. After 35 years of age, our fertility declines dramatically, and I'm sure that any one of us is concerned. Our specialists in our clinic recommend to consider egg donation program after 2 or 3 failed IVF cycles. I, as an embryologist, I cannot say, well, go to the egg donation, well, because it must be the independent decision of patient and with the clinician. But with 3 failed cycles with low fertilization rate, because 2 eggs from 9 mature eggs is, well, it's a small number, and in fact, in this case, none of them reached blastocyst stage, and even with using sperm donors, I would say that seeing all the results of course with cooperation with the clinician, that maybe it would be the time to consider the change of attitude.
Thank you so much for your advice as well. And okay, now we have another question. Does endometriosis affect the quality?
Thank you for these questions. Well, there are, as far as I know, there are evidence that the endometriosis can affect egg quality because of the constant inflammation process in the organism. And the oocytes in the ovaries that can also be affected by endometriosis are under the constant stress, and their functions can be impaired after effect of fertilization. As an embryologist, I often had the opportunity to see oocytes extracted from the ovaries that are affected by endometriosis, and these oocytes were markedly changed. I couldn't assess the quality as good. And so I must say that yes, the endometriosis and uterine inflammation has impact on equality.
Okay, thank you so much again for your question. and your advice on that as well. All right, so let me have a look. There's another question. So, is it true that the drug protocol you are on can affect your egg quality?
Well, as I said, I think few questions before, the egg quality can be markedly different even when using the same protocol. And before our meeting, I ran through some literature just to check what is nowadays said about the problem. And in fact, I couldn't find any strong evidence that simulation protocol affects it markedly. However, I ran to the information that mild stimulations are more beneficial. But as an embryologist, I cannot speak about stimulation protocols with certain 100% of to be certain. I am rather address this question to the clinician, and well, in fact, I would like to. I would have to see the embryological outcome and the protocol that was used to, and if I could consult it with my doctor fellow to draw some conclusions.
Of course, perfect. Thank you so much. And just let me remind you that you can always use the link that I have just sent to you right now, and you can actually ask your question if you would like to get some more details. And this will be there is an option there, ask a question, and it will be forwarded to the team, to Marta and her team, so they will be able to get back to you with some more details as well. Okay. Thank you again. And let's go to the next question. So, does in vitro maturation influence oocyte quality and, as a consequence, embryo quality?
Thank you for this question. Well, in oocyte maturation is a solution in certain clinical aspects. We draw immature oocytes and allow them to run through the maturation process in the laboratory. Of course, the laboratory conditions are created to mimic the natural environment, but it will never be so perfect that it is in nature. However, in my experience, we use in vitro maturation techniques, and we had embryos that reached the blastocyst state, that they successfully implant. So if all the conditions, if all the laboratory conditions are completed perfectly, the oocyte quality is what we are born with, and good oocytes, good immature oocytes will mature in the culture in a correct way, and after fertilization will produce a good embryo. That's all.
Perfect. Thank you so much for that question as well as your answer to it. And let's have a look at this question. So, time-lapse incubator doesn't affect the embryos by having many pictures taken of them at such regular intervals?
No, because it's all designed in the way that it would not affect embryos. First of all, embryos are not taken out from the incubator, and they are placed in the incubator after the moment of fertilization, the day of fertilization, and then taken out to be transferred after 3 or 5 days. And the camera works in the way that it would not affect the embryos by some radiation or something like that. And as we can see in this beautiful movies, how the embryos develop, well, it will not. It's not affected by the camera. The only thing that determines the quality of the embryos is the genetical material of the parents that created it.
All right, perfect. much again for explaining that to us. And now we have another question here. So the quality of the oocytes is influenced by maternal age and mother. Could the vitrification be one solution to preserve the quality of the eggs?
I would say that yes. The social freezing was considered by many women when they when they are close to reach for example, 35 years of age. They have other plans for developing their career. They have plans to have children, but later it's all personal. I will not interfere with that. But yes, it could be. It could be. However, according to the Polish law, the freezing of vitrification of all sites is allowed only in oncological cases. I would like to have to check how it's regulated in different countries, if the social freezing is allowed. But yes, definitely. Well, many celebrities freeze their eggs to keep them for the better times to create a family. And we definitely when 38-year-old woman would tell the oocytes that she vitrified 10 years ago, the oocytes will have 28 years, so they will be competent to undergo fertilization and successful development and hopefully pregnancy.
Yep. Thank you so much again for explaining this to us. Definitely interesting. And let's have a look at the next question that we have here. So, could the microbiota has an impact on seminal quality?
Well, first of all, we need to define what microbiota, because we do not expect any microbes in the sperm. So if there is any inflammation or bacteria or fungi or even virus, the semen quality will be impaired because the organism won't have to defend against this inflammation process. And so in our clinics, for example, we in certain cases we recommend the bacteriological analysis of sperm just to eliminate the possibility of adverse effect of microbes on the sperm.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much again for answering that question. And there's another one right here. So, does it happen sometimes that PGK will be marked as an unemployed, one, and won't be transferred?
Uh, I must admit that I would like to have these questions to be to send to me, because I have I'm not an expert on PGD PGA, and I would like to check it with my colleagues. But it's very interesting questions, and it comes to it speaks us about reliability of the methods. So I would like to check these questions with someone or somewhere else, and don't want to give false answers. However, from experience of my colleagues from another clinic of InviMed, the reliability of the test is very high, and I did not hear about this false positive or false negative result of the test.
All right. Thank you so much again, still for that advice. And as I mentioned, you can always use that link and just simply send it to the team, Marta and her team. I'm sure they will be able to just simply check it for you, double check it for you, and provide you with an answer. Okay. Thank you so much. And now let's go to the next question. We have few questions left, so let me go to it. Do you use embryogen culture media in your clinic? Do you recommend it? If it's used, do you need to switch to blastgen at day 3? What happens if you don't? And if you use the time lapse, is just one culture media?
Okay, thank you very much. No, in our InviMed clinics, we don't use embryogen media. I cannot speak about recommendation, because we don't work with this media. Our system includes one-step media and also in time lapse system. However, in the future, it depends. Maybe we will check this media, how it works in our conditions.
Okay, perfect. Then for this one, and so here's the next one. What is the most recommended method of assisted
Well,
hatching?
there are two methods of assisted hatching that we use in our clinics. It's mechanical, just cutting with a sharp glass under the microscope. Of course, everything is controlled, and it's also most popular laser method. We just mm, give a shot to the embryo to make a hole in the zona pellucida, just to facilitate uh, the exit from the from the shell. But for recommendation, well, the laser method is faster. However, in cutting the zona, with the experienced embryologist will also perform it very quick and without possible harm to the embryo.
Okay, thank you for that explanation as well. And there are a few questions left, so just let me remind you, if you would like to ask, just go ahead and type it in so that Marta can answer it for you. And let me go to the next question. So, does oocytes retrieved after dual stimulation may have a worse quality? That was the option suggested by my clinician.
Well, I must admit that these questions I would have to reconsider, because I'm not sure if I understand the term of dual stimulation. I would like to learn a little bit more about this
Okay.
protocol. And well, it also takes us to the questions about cohort of oocytes and different protocols of stimulation, how and they can behave different.
Of course, not a problem. And perhaps if you could add something, just please type it in. Maybe we can have a look. I just see someone is typing, but let's let's go to the next question. And if we have it, then we will simply go back to this one. Okay. Thank you. And let me have a look at the next question for you. So, is there any diet or lifestyle choice which improves embryo quality?
Well, as I said before, we are born with the oocytes, with this definite number of oocytes which will create our embryos. However, the diet is very important. In our clinic in Gdynia, and of course in all our clinics, we have a special person to advise with the diet, and all types of food with antioxidants, and well, there are so many protocols of diet that will influence the overall life well-being of the patients, that it would also increase the chances to become parents. I would gladly send our patients to this person that specialize in dietetics.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much as well, of course, for that question. And as I mentioned, if you would like to get some more details and of course, get in touch with the team, I'm sure they will be able to provide you with more details. So go ahead and just use the link that I have sent in the chat section. And as I mentioned, there are like 2 or 3 questions left, so it's like we will be slowly finishing. So this is your chance to ask your question, okay? And let me go to the question here. So, does it make sense to transfer blastocysts frozen by slow vitrification, or the chances for them to survive an implant are just too low?
All right. The blastocyst frozen by slow freezing. Well, the fact is, when the embryo, in this case blastocyst, survives the process of thawing, it will be ready to implant. So it all depends if the survival will be complete. Well, in case of embryos, if the blastocyst will not survive the freezing, the freezing and thawing, well, it's clear we cannot transfer it. But if it survives, if it looks good, if the embryologist gives the green light, well, it should be transferred. It should be definitely transferred because blastocysts are very resistant, and as I could see during my practice, resistant to on freezing condition, and they behave quite nicely after thawing. So, well, I think I would say good luck if the blastocyst will survive.
All right. Perfect. Thank you so much again for your question and for and thank okay, now let's go to the next question we have about actually quality. So, what vitamins would you recommend? Anything you could add to this?
I see. Well, this question should be definitely addressed to our
Sure.
specialist, our doctor, which works in our clinics in Gdynia, Dr. Beata Makowska, who is a very, very good specialist in vitamins and would definitely answer to this question.
Of course, not a problem. Understood. So let me just send it once again. If you would like to be connected with the team, anyone from the team, InviMed team, you can just use that link that I have just sent to you. And as I mentioned, it's like final call for the questions. Okay, there will be, I believe this is our last question, but if you have any left, go ahead and type it in right now. Okay, and so I would like to know if the male age can influence the sperm quality in terms of competence. I mean, the competence of the spermatoza can be influenced by male age. Okay.
I see. Thank you, Marta, for the questions. Well, the latest research data show us that in aged that men that reached a certain age, I think I ran through the number of 50 years of age, have higher percentage of sperm DNA fragmentation. And if the sperm DNA fragmentation is beyond some safe level, it will it can cause, first of all, fertilization failure, or well, it has lower fertilization potential. And if the embryo would appear and the pregnancy would happen, well, it gives us a higher chance of miscarriage in patients with higher sperm DNA fragmentation. So yes, competence is in this way can be affected by age. So we all need to we need to consider that we are, of course, we are not immortal, and we have some limits,
Okay.
and we have to know these limits.
That is true, unfortunately. Thank you so much for your question as well as your well explanation for to it, of course. And as I mentioned, I guess that was our last question. At least I do not see any more questions, but we can just wait a bit and see if there are any questions left. If there are, this is your final chance to ask Marta and get some advice. And also, just let me remind you that I already said you can simply get in touch with the team using the link that I have just sent here. And that way, any details you would like to know about the vitamins recommended, etc., those little things, then definitely the team. InviMed team will be able to get back to you, provide you with much more details too. So just go ahead and do it. And I believe we will be finishing us right now, of course. So, well, Marta, thank you so much for
Thank you
joining our
very much.
Stronger
I
Together
I,
initiative.
I enjoy it deep, and I'm glad if I could help at least some of you, and if not all. And I'm ready for, if you happen to have any more questions, do not hesitate to use the link as Caroline said. Thank you very, very much for the evening.
Perfect. Thank you so much as well. And well, I just wanted you to see that we have some thank you so already. Like, thank you. I'm trying to move towards. That was about the question
Oh,
previous
well,
one. So towards like
good
donation,
luck,
it's a big
Kathy. I
decision.
will have my fingers crossed for your treatment.
Yes.
Thank you.
definitely, we are definitely keeping fingers crossed for all of the patients, and also you, Kathy. Thank you for that comment. So there are more thank
Thank you,
yous
thank
and
you, thank you all. Thank you
more.
all.
So yes, just let me show you all of this. We have more
I'm
of
so glad.
so
I'm so
many.
glad to see so many happy faces.
Exactly, right? It's always nice to have so many happy, I believe, patients as well. And well, okay, there's one more, so just let me show you that one too. I don't want to miss anyone.
It was a
Okay,
pleasure.
perfect, thank you. And there's like some greetings for you right here as well.
Oh,
See,
thank you very much, Patrick. Thank you very
thank
much.
you. So, thank you, Marta. Is there anything you would like to add?
Well, in regarding embryo quality, there's always uh, well. I don't want to spoil the spoil my speech. Well, in fact, the I can speak personally because embryo quality was always my favorite topic in embryology. So I'm always glad to share my knowledge with the patients or my colleagues. And well, I promise, if I knew something new, I will inform you.
Perfect. Thank you so much again for joining us. It has been a pleasure to have you here. And well, I just wanted to also remind you that again, this has been recorded, so you will have a chance to watch it again on our website. You will just need to use the same link that I have sent you in the chat. The video will be uploaded very soon, but also remember that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you will be notified when the new video is uploaded. But also you can visit our website, myivfanswers.com. There are almost 2,000 questions that has been answered by the top experts from various clinics all over the world. So this is like a big website where you can definitely find answers. So go ahead and visit it and check it out. So if you have any other questions, of course, you will be able to also find answers there. But also let me remind you that we will be back here today at 8 p.m. UK time. So we will have a IVF webinar this time, and I would love to see you there as well. You will again have a chance to ask your questions and well, simply find out some more details on another topic, egg donation topic, in fact. So thank you once again. It has been a pleasure, Marta. Thanks so much, and
Thank
to
you
all,
very, very much.
a lovely evening.
Thank
And
you.
well, I hope to see you soon as well. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Bye.